Hello and welcome to today's 5-minute message. I've got a question for you. Are you in the mood for a used car? If you're shopping for a used car and you want somebody to go with you, don't ask me. I got nothing for you. I don't know the difference between brake lines and axles, and I don't know what the pistons do. I don't know the difference between a fuel injector and emissions, and I don't know anything. I'm not your guy. It's going to take you about 10 seconds to figure out that I have no idea how to work a car. I'm not your guy. But you know what I do know a lot about? Grocery stores. If you wanted to come to me and ask me about the price of eggs and why they're so high, I can tell you. If you want to know how to run a store, I can tell you. If you want to know how to merchandise shelves and what sells and where to put things and how to price them and these sorts of things, I can probably help you with that. And it would take you all of about 10 seconds to figure out that I have no idea about cars. Nothing. I'm not handy. But you know what? In probably about 10 or 15 seconds, you could figure out that I've got a little something there with grocery stores. I might be onto something. Do you think the same thing is true as it relates to the things of God? If somebody talked to you for about a minute, could they figure out that you know what you're talking about with God, or would they conclude that you have no idea? If you talk to me for about a minute about the things of God, would you conclude that I know what I'm talking about, or would you conclude that I have no idea? It doesn't take very long to figure this stuff out. As we continue and go further in the book of 1 John, John's going to give us some warnings here that we need to get under our belts so that we can carry on in our walk with Him. God wants you to be able to discern the Spirit of God. As we go into this next section, 1 John chapter 3, verse 24 through chapter 4 and verse 11 is our next major section. But today we're just going to be looking at verses 24 through chapter 4 and verse 3. This test of confession. There's 3 tests that we're going to get in this section, and we're just going to look at this first one, the test of confession. We need to be able to discern the Spirit of God, and you need to be able to do this with other people. Let's read these verses. Now he who keeps his commandments abides in him, and he in him. And by this we know that he abides in us, by the Spirit whom he has given us. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard is coming and is now already in the world. Are you able to discern the Spirit of God around you in your life, in the midst of other people? Can we tell in you that the Spirit of God is working in you? Are you being led by the Spirit? Are you walking in the flesh? How can we discern this? How can we tell this? And here's one of the tests that John gives us as we try to figure out how to discern the Spirit of God. He says, by this we keep his commandments, we abide in him and he in us, and by this he abides in us in his Spirit whom he has given to us. So we need to be thinking about keeping his commandments, and we've talked about that before. But here's where he's going to get into the meat of the thing. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits. How do you test the spirits? Should you be testing the spirits? Is it okay to test the spirits? Maybe you need to be asking some good questions. Maybe you need to see what this person's lifestyle is like, because false prophets have come out into the world. There's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing out there. Can you tell the difference? Just like you can tell that I'm not a car guy in about 10 seconds. Can you ask good questions about people in this world to see whether or not they're wolves in sheep's clothing? Are they false prophets that have gone out into the world? Because by this, you'll know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses Jesus Christ is come into the flesh is of God. You need to be asking people about Jesus. And what do they say about who Jesus is, and what has Jesus done? Is Jesus real? Is Jesus fake? Is Jesus a phony? Is Jesus a liar? Or is Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God, the person who died for you and is now able to forgive you based upon what he's done on the cross when he died for you? Can you be discerning of the Spirit of God in your life and in other people's lives? Have a great day.